Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Board YouTube channel. It has been far too long since we were out here doing some content as far as some betting is concerned with player props, but here we are. The FIBA World Cup is just one day away. We're very happy to be going live bright and early for myself here in Eastern Time, middle of the day for Pips out in Croatia, but we do have the player prop lines that we are looking for this competition, and we have a lot of bets ready to go for today. Counting them up, 7 player prop bets ready. And before we go through all of those pips, we did our preview yesterday. Please make sure anybody watching go to the channel and check out our preview for the tournament. But Pips, how are you feeling ahead of day one and with the lines that we have here?
Some crazy line disparity, and you can just shop for the lines and find the good edges. I think for now, FanDuel has the sharpest line, so going off of that makes sense. Yeah, as expected for the first day of the line, so we'll just go in and place the most bets we ever had on the show.
Yeah, usually with our NBA streams, we had like 2 or 3. I think maybe one time we had 4, but today there are 7. We're going to go through all of them right now to make sure that everybody can get the right prices in, and then we're going to talk a little bit about them. Most of what we have here is likely down to just line disparity. A lot of the books aren't really accurate to the other right now, so we're finding some really good prices here. I was able to even sneak some in for the show here. So let's get into doing that right now. So, first of all, we're going to go to my Canadians. Love this play here. Kelly Olynyk over 11.5 points, minus 115 at DraftKings. All of these are available, by the way. You can either get DraftKings, 365, or FanDuel. They're not all available at all of them, but that's the books that we're going to be using here. Kelly Olynyk over 11.5 points. Then we're going to Dwight Powell under 7.5 points for minus 115 odds at Bet365. Again, we're going to elaborate these a little bit later on. Pips, how do you pronounce this name?
Dubljevic, Boyan
Duvljevic?
Dubljevic. Yeah,
Okay,
it's
under under 11.5 points, minus 130 at 365. Who is this? I don't know who this is.
Yeah, he's playing in Europe the entire career, and he's playing for Montenegro.
Okay.
He's usually playing at 5, so, but now playing next to Vucevic, so this line is inflated.
Okay. Next up is Joe Ingles under 9.5 points, minus
Ingles.
130 at FanDuel. Apologies if you are in Canada. FanDuel does not have all of the player prop odds listed. It is just the milestone line. So see if another sportsbook has something similar. Maybe FanDuel will post them later in the day, but that's the only FanDuel play that we have. Next one is Dante Exum over 7.5 points, minus 115 at 365. Back in the NBA and on the FIBA World Cup scene, Dante Exum. Then we're going to Dennis Schroeder, who has been ripping it up with Germany in the pre-tournament events. We're going to have him over 6.5 assists from minus 145 odds at DraftKings. So taking on the juice there. We'll explain why a little bit later. And finally, back to the Canadians. We're going under on Dylan Brooks for his assist, which is 2.5, minus 120 at DraftKings. And for all of these markets, it's very, very much moving around right now. We're still in kind of the early stages of these being posted. So it's important to catch these shows live, to come live, to get updates in the show. Number 1, follow us on Twitter at the Board HQ. Number 2, set the notifications on YouTube as well. Also, youtube.com/at the Board HQ. All right, Pips, where should we start for this one? Do you want to start with the Canadian plays here?
Yeah, I think Dwight Powell and Kelly they have the most sense to go off one another. So I'm like the basic concept to beating Rudy Gobert is to have shooting at 5. So playing Dwight Powell heavy minutes will just help Rudy Gobert to help off of him inside, and that will make life very, very, very difficult for Canadians. So I expect Canadian to play Kelly Olynyk at 5 way more, and to limit some minutes for Dwight Powell in this matchup. And also, Dwight Powell needs to score like 4 field goals against Gobert inside, which is kind of difficult, especially with Gobert playing drop coverage and being inside close to the rim all the time. So that Dwight Powell usually scores his points off pick and roll with some lobs from Luka Doncic, but that won't be the case tonight. And yeah, or I would say even tomorrow. It depends on which time zone you are. But yeah, I just think Dwight Powell against Rudy Gobert in low minutes shouldn't be able to cover this line. And the second part is Kelly shooting, and he played great against in the last three games before the World Cup. In preliminaries, I don't know how to call these games, but
Yeah.
yeah, preliminaries he played very well, and I expect him. Yeah, he's like their only true big guy, and they play a lot through him. And you said he's the captain, so I expect him to play 30 minutes, and I think he'll be able to clear this in those minutes.
Yeah. So obviously I know a bit about the Canadian team. So yesterday it was announced that, well, it wasn't announced. It was just reported by some credible reporters that Kelly Olynyk is going to be the captain for Team Canada, whatever that means. But I think it does mean that we're bound to see some play time out of him, as you said about the Rudy Gobert handicap. And when we found this one, Kelly Olynyk, this is two full points off of the DraftKings line, like a tiny bit, like a little bit extra juice. It was 13 and a half minus 102 at FanDuel. So amazing price. And yeah, like you said with the bigs in Canada, it's Olynyk, it's Powell, and then it's I believe his name's Kyle Alexander out of the Canadian Professional League, and Zach Edey, who plays for Purdue in the NCAA. So lots of play time coming for Olynyk. And as you said, that could hinder some Dwight Powell minutes. We like this one from a shopping perspective for the Dwight Powell under 7.5 points for minus 115 at 365. But talk a little bit more about the handicap and how he's going to be matching up against Rudy
I will
Gobert.
just also say like the only real game they played against Germany was very close game, very competitive
Yeah,
game. We saw Kelly scoring 21 points, playing 27 minutes, while Powell played only 14 minutes and scored only 2 points. So yeah,
against Rudy Gobert as well, even more difficult. All right, let's go to Montenegro here. Dubljevic under 11.5 points. I'm not familiar with this player, so I'll let you take this away for his minus 130 line at 365.
I just think this is the mistaken line. In the preliminaries, he scored like 5, 4, 7 points. So I expect his line to actually be around 8.5, 9.5. This line is kind of reminding me like the games where Vucevic was back in the NBA and Montenegro was playing without him. So Dubljevic will be the first option at the big position, and he will have average like 20, 12, 13 points. So now he's a bit older, and now they need to play off two bigs. So they have Vucevic down there and Dubljevic. That will make life a bit more difficult for Dubljevic. And yeah, I just think this line is way off. It's 9.5 at DraftKings, so maybe even 8.5 later today.
Okay, so good line shopping there. Let's go to Australia here. We have two plays for some Aussies. First of all, we're going to Joe Ingles under 9.5 minus 130. You sent this one to me a lot earlier on in the day. It's still up right now, but what you like about this one?
Yeah, I just think Joe Ingles won't be a threat to score. He's old. He'll be there for his leadership, playmaking, and some. Yeah, I just think this line will probably be like 7.5 in game two or game three. I hope so. Like
Yeah,
I don't. Also, I think Australia could win pretty confidently against. Pretty confident they can win like double digits against the Finland. So they won't even need his heavy minutes. And yeah, I just think yeah, Ingles 2023 for his national team. I expect him to do much better in a matchup against in a tougher matchup, and they will be saving him for the second part of the tournament.
yeah, and something to consider as well for Joe Ingles. Like you said, this is a difficult game against Finland, but this is a guy who shoots a lot of threes, and we're getting him on a 9.5. May have to hit 4 threes to get over this line. So the half to go over the 9 is very, very valuable for a player like Joe Ingles. So I like this one here as well. Next, we'll go to Dante Exum, sticking with Australia, former fifth overall pick, I believe, to the Utah Jazz. He's back in the NBA this year with the Dallas Mavericks. At least I still think he's with them. We're going to take him over 7.5 here. You know a lot about Exum. He's been playing in Serbia. Is that correct?
Yeah. So
So you know a
he
lot about
played
him.
great. He had a great year, and now he's on the spotlight to show off that he proved and that he can play way better. And I think his game will, as a slasher as he is in this matchup against the Finland, I expect a very high scoring game and with high pace. So he should score through transition, and he should get like more minutes probably because this game could honestly end up 15 or 20 points for Australia. So yeah, I just think he'll get enough reps on the ball and to score like 10 points in this game.
Absolutely. And we'll go now to the Germans. Like I said, Dennis Schroeder has been on a absolute tear with the Germans in pre-tournament action. The point line that we wanted to play, long gone, but the assist line still available here. We can get Dennis Schroeder over 6.5 assists from minus 145 at DraftKings. Also available for plus 100 at 365. But why don't you talk us through why you're taking the significant juice here on this
Yeah,
assist?
this was supposed to be over 17 and a half points, but it moved, so I'm going to his assist. I like his assist first, but it has more juice, but still, yeah, everything goes through him. Japan can defend for their life, so this should be an easy win. So Schroeder shouldn't force much of a scoring. He should just try to involve his players, and there are a ton of options for him to assist to. Wagner, Moritz, Friends, and Tice, and Ops coming off the screens. So yeah, a lot of a lot of players to assist to, a lot of good scorers there, and I expect them to score a ton of points, which will mostly come from Schroeder playing on the ball.
And finally, one I forgot to mention earlier, going back to the Canadians, we have Dylan Brooks under 2.5 assists, minus 120 at DraftKings. Canada playing against France tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. What do you like about Dylan Brooks? He's a Houston Rockets guy now. You can't be playing his unders.
Yeah, I just think when I think about Dylan Brooks, it's just tunnel vision, and he's not passing the ball that much. And playing against the French, they will look to slow down the pace. The Gobert is inside to protect the rim. They are not helping or inside, so won't be like easy kickouts for wide open shots because players are just staying at their guarding their players and allowing Gobert to just find his way to defend the rim. So yeah, and also in the four preliminary games, he had one assist, three assists, zero assists, and two assists. So that's 1.5 assist average. And now playing France, yeah, I just think this line is like should be 1.5. And it's with those low lines, this is actually a huge value on this line.
Okay, so a lot of bets to consider. We're going half units for this just because we're not completely certain about what we're gonna get out of the FIBA World Cup. But yeah, looking around this morning, some really good lines out there, and we found a lot. There's a reason we played seven, like more than double what we would normally have on any show that we do for the NBA season. So excited to get all of these going as well. Reminder: we do have that show, the show we did yesterday. That wasn't a live show, but a video that we released doing a preview for the full tournament where a couple of futures bets were also given out and just some general preview for the competition. But just so everybody's aware what the schedule is going to be for our channel going forward in the tournament. So we added in the show today, but here is what we have coming up as well. Tomorrow we are going to be going live again for match day 1 of 3 action as well. We're going to be doing match day 1, and hopefully, if we can get some lines for match day 2, we will also get that. We're going to take a break on the weekend, come back on Monday for the final group games for all of the groups, and then you can see the rest of the schedule. We have stuff for the round of 16, quarterfinals, semifinals, all the way up to the final. You can also see this graphic on our Twitter account as well if you happen to forget exactly when those shows are going to be going live. But I'm very excited for this tournament. Pips, what do you think? I mean, I'm just trying to think about when we should be going live. So today we did 9 a.m. because we had the lines out. We saw some good prices. Tomorrow, the final game is at 9:30. Hopefully, we can get in potentially around noon. But what would be your expectation for the timing of the schedules for
It's
tomorrow?
difficult for me to understand the difference in time zones because now
Right,
I have to compare your time zone with USA,
right, right.
Canada, with uh, via Japan and Indonesia and Philippines.
Say your local time. You're 6 hours ahead, and then we can convert.
Yeah, I mean, like 2 hours after the games probably should be a good time. Like 2 hours after the last game, so last game should probably finish 6 my time, so at 8, which is 2 your
Yeah.
time.
So
I guess,
8 p.m. for you. You're in Croatia. I'm in Canada Eastern time. So
yeah,
around 2 p.m. Eastern is what we're going to be shooting for these
probably, yeah.
streams. It dependent as well, everybody, on like those lines need to be out. We need to make sure the lines are posted. If not, we'll surely update you. But tentatively, we can set that for 2 p.m. And final piece of housekeeping here. There's nowhere to officially track all of this information. So we're going to be tracking with a spreadsheet. We don't like to do it. We like to track with a third party where we can verify that we place them at verified lines. But unfortunately for this tournament, we don't have the capability of doing that. So we're going to be doing it with spreadsheets, which we will also be sharing with you guys. But I think that's all we have for today. Let's wrap up by going through all the plays that we do have. 7 plays in total. First of all, in Canada's game against France, 9:30 a.m. Eastern time tomorrow, we have Kelly Olynyk over 11.5 points for -115 at DraftKings. Dwight Powell under 7.5 points, also -115, but at 365. And Dylan Brooks under 2.5 assists for -120 at DraftKings. We're going to Montenegro to play Dubljevic under 11.5 points, -130 at Bet365. I said it correctly?
Yes.
Okay, great. We're going to Australia in their game against Finland, where we're taking Joe Ingles under 9.5 points, -130 at FanDuel. Again, apologies if you are watching in Canada. You may not be able to get this one at the moment. Also with Australia, Dante Exum over 7.5 points for -115 at 365. Finally, we're going to Germany to play with maybe the FIBA MVP right now in their game against Japan. We have the Germans playing where Dennis Schroeder will feature, and we're hoping to get over 8.5 or over 6.5 assists, for -145 odds at DraftKings. Don't fear the juice. This is the value play that we have given out over here. But that will wrap it up today. So let's hope to cash these ones. We're going to be going live tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern time, hopefully 8 p.m. local time for Pips watching. If you are on the West Coast in North America, then you'll be watching at 11 a.m. on your time. So lots of different time zones to factor through. But if you do want to play along with any of these bets, you do want to tail any of these bets, and you're not signed up to any of the sports books, make sure you scan the QR code in the top right corner of the stream. If you're listening in audio, you can also go to the link in the description for the betstamp.app/the board, where we do have the sign-up links to get involved with all these sports books to make sure you're getting the best possible price. I mean, we've been saying with the amount of different prices available, line shopping is so important for this tournament, so you want to make sure you're getting the best price. But make sure to drop a like, subscribe for more. Also, if you're on audio, rate and review 5 stars, and me and Pips will be back tomorrow for some more content here on the board for the FIBA World Cup.